Hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. Tonight we're going to have a very, very special guest. You know, a lot of times, especially in our community, folks are talking the talk, but very few are walking the walk. Well, joining us tonight, we got a young man who's not only talking the talk, but he's walking the walk. Many times you hear somebody doing an introduction say, well, this guy needs no introduction. Well, if you got a person like that needs no introduction, that means they ain't done a damn thing. So I'm gonna read my brother's introduction to you. My special guest is the Reverend M.G. Mike Ramey. He is the modern street gangs and media consultant of the Gangline. He has been interviewed in the U.S. and abroad on radio, television, and internet about the dangers of modern street gangs since 2007. Previously, he served as an award-winning broadcast journalist, producer, TV radio talk show host, print staff writer, and section editor. Since the 1980s, Mr. Ramey has covered gangs in Indianapolis and beyond. He has won or helped to win some 24 journalist awards and citations. He also holds a police certification for citizen bravery from the Indianapolis Police Department in 1986. The Gangline is a natural fit for all of his anti-gang activities and abilities. Mr. Ramey is a certified modern street gang specialist with law enforcement since 2006 and non-law enforcement since 2010, and Gangs and Cults Ministry 2017 certifications to rarity in anti-gang training. He also carries a specialist ratings in the area of cult and occult crime and transitional human trafficking. He has served as an online counselor for thegangstyle.com from 2000 to 2009. His skills were utilized in the following areas: helping parents to understand how their teens could be involved in gang activity. He is also an ordained minister. He's a writer and blogger for blackmeninamerica.com, which I share that space with him, with our leader, of course, the CEO and publisher, Gary Johnson. I would like to welcome to the mics none other than my friend, Mr. Mike Ramey. How you doing, my brother?
Boy, I tell you, if I was just tuning in now, I'd wonder who that guy was. How you doing, Harold?
I'm doing fine. If you look over my shoulder, you see my brother right there back there on my message board between Jackie Robinson and under Muhammad Ali. That's Mr. Ramey right there. That handsome man that you see right there. I'm fine, man. I'm so excited about this show because very seldom, I'm always thinking that I'm the straw that stirred the drink, and not realizing that there are other folks out there that are just as dedicated as myself. You know, I was reading something on you today, and it was something about, you said you have been noticing something in a wide variety of TV commercials over the last several years, be they on main TV, networks, or cable, or further into the television universe. It seems that families having sons has fallen out of vogue among the wizards of smart on Madison Avenue. Daughters have become the fixture among advertisers, a trend that you said you find very, very disturbing. Tell me why you find that so disturbing, Mike.
Well, America has been a feminized country since the mid-1990s.
Mm-hmm.
And what is really sad is that the feminists are really too stupid to realize that they're starting a war against the very sons that they have and claim that they support all rights, but they don't support their own sons. So what makes it really sad is that young men, really since the 90s, have been just drifting along in this country. And what is really this tragic about the situation is that, like one preacher said, you got what you wanted, but you don't like what you got. And there's a lot of women out there that are really upset now because the young men that they have basically taken the backbones out of over the last 20 years don't want to get married, don't want to have kids, don't want to own a house. And this is what the feminists have done. And basically, you've got brothers out there saying, well, why should I buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? And I'm not politically correct, but I am right that there are a lot of young black men that have been sold a bill of goods. There are a lot of young black women that have been sold a bill of goods too. And in fact, the biggest area of racism is not black men against black women, but white women against black women. And slowly, black women are starting to realize the fact that black men are not their enemy. They're their friends. They're their support. And that's part of my column that's supposed to be coming out in February and for Black History Month. Like they say, you better get your boots on because it's going to be a deep subject.
Yeah. Well, Mike, don't you think that has been part of the plan to turn our women against us? I mean, I think that's been a part of the plan because one of the things that I noticed, and I hope those of you out there also noticed, that during NFL football games, you remember when it was so popular that when one of the black players scored a touchdown or made a great play, they would go to the sideline and say, "Hi, Mom." You don't hear that anymore. What's happening there?
Well, like you said, it's part of a plot. It's the NFL, just like the NBA, has turned into basically plantation coon style activities.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
As a follower of the game for a long time, and like I said, I remember when white folk hated Jim Brown whenever he got on the football field in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like they're cheering for the thugs, and that's what the NFL is putting out there. Mm-hmm. The reason why that you don't see more respect given to black women, especially mothers by the NFL, especially by black athletes, is it's planned. It's part of the prescription to basically take us back to plantation days, to make us no more than the body, the physical. That's part of the how shall I say? That's part of the stereotype. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, it's in the NBA, and now it's in the NFL, and of course that's what white folks want. Mm-hmm. They don't want black owners.
Yeah.
When Michael Jordan was talking about owning a basketball team, they about had a fit. When Bill Cosby was talking about buying NBC for $400 million, they've still been trying to assassinate Bill Cosby. They killed his son. Now they're trying to lock Bill Cosby up. Mm-hmm. So in America, especially among some white folks, they still don't want us to achieve, and people like Oprah and others, black entertainers that have a lot of money, are not doing anything to disrupt those stereotypes.
Right. Mike, you're right on the one. I was doing a commentary today. There was a thing on HBCs, the black historical black colleges. They got a digest out, and I get it on the internet by email. and they were making a big deal out of three, and it is a big deal, for Black history. Three black referees this past Sunday in the Denver and playing the Phoenix Suns. There were three black referees on the court at the same time. Now, what makes that so rare is that all three of these black referees came from a historical black college, and I think it was Southern University that they came from, and that is something to cheer about. But we're missing the big picture, Mike, as you just got through saying. This is what I said, Mike, briefly. I said, congratulations to these three brothers. But we are still looking for love in all the wrong places. The recent firing of Jason Kidd by the NBA's Milwaukee Bucks has brought black head coaches down to a dismal 6. I've been covering the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball for 40 plus years, and the ongoing practice of pro sports franchises in America are similar to the plantation mentality of slave owners in the early 1800s. We were the first black professional athlete. The only difference today and back in the day is the players were 100% black. Thanks to Michael Jordan, pro sports franchise ownership is at an all-time low with 99% white. There are 90 pro sports franchises and only one black owner in 2018. There is something wrong with this picture. The recent firing of Dusty Baker by the Washington Nationals, Major League Baseball is down to maybe just one black manager and no ownership. Dave Roberts is the head man in LA for the moment. Jim Caldwell was fired in Detroit, and now down the NFL is down to maybe five black head coaches. Ron Rivera is not black. And there is no black owners in sight as we head to the Super Bowl in Minnesota. What happened to the Colin Kaepernick boycott? The NBA, with the firing of Kidd, is down to five black coaches. The firing of Kidd is similar to the firing of Mark Jackson with the Warriors, Tony Dungy in Tampa Bay, and Casey Jones with the Washington Bullets. All laid the foundation of potential championship status, and all were shown the door before they could taste the fruits of their labor. Their replacements won championships immediately. As we head into Black History Month, there is no need to think about what you are celebrating. There's a need to think about what you're celebrating. We cannot take our eyes off the big picture. We must remember the sacrifices of Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Jesse Owens, Mel Whitfield, Paul Robeson, Jackie Robinson, Kurt Flood, Muhammad Ali, and our Prince of Peace, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. What is the state of black America, and especially the black athlete, Mike?
Well, let's remember something here. Part of the problem with the black athlete is that a lot of the black history concerning the black athlete has never been made public or has been watered down.
That's right.
Now, if you're going to be a black coach, or if you're going to be a coach who happens to be black in the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, it's just like when Obama was president. We finally had a black president, and he failed just like a white president. Failure is not limited to skin color. Failure is limited to those who are not prepared,
right,
and who don't know their history. If you look at sports, if you don't win as a white coach, you get fired. If you don't win as a black coach, you get fired. The problem is that we haven't moved up past coaching and into ownership versus white athletes. We have not moved up from athletes going to ESPN to be commentators. It took a long time to start seeing black commentators. It took a long time for James Brown to become popular. But still, like the first black doctor who became the head of the county health department here in Indianapolis, where I live, Dr. Johnson said, we got to keep on jumping rope whether or not anybody asks us to jump rope. That's the side effect of being a manager of an NBA or NFL team. If you don't win, you're going to get fired. And it's not a racial thing. It's just part of the business. Now, what Black History Month should also point out is the fact that if it wasn't for black athletes, you would not have an NBA. Because at one point in time, back in the 40s, you remember, the NBA begged the Harlem Globetrotters, an all-black team, to play the first half of the afternoon game bill in order to bring the customers in. Then you'd have the NBA, the fledgling NBA team, play the second game, and they were mostly white. But if it wasn't for the Globetrotters, the NBA basketball wouldn't have lasted 10 years. That's part of our history, too. If it wasn't for us, if it wasn't for the Negro baseball leagues, you wouldn't have Major League Baseball, Satchel Paige, etc. So, yeah, we've had some setbacks, but like one brother on the East Coast said years ago, and I've never forgotten this, he said a setback is a setup for a comeback. If it wasn't for Tony Dungy, this city where I am now would never have a Super Bowl victory. And they waited 20 years for Dungy to get here. Dungy got everything. They still try to talk about Peyton Manning, but it was Dungy that did the work.
And that brother that said a setback, what did he say? A setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback.
A setback is a setup for a comeback.
that brother.
The brother from the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's probably gonna wind up getting canned because of the way the Steelers play.
Oh yes.
But that's part of the game. You know, the Patriots offensive coach may be coming to Indianapolis as the head coach of the Colts. And but he tried his stint as head coach with Denver, and only lasted 18 months and ran back to Foxborough.
Mike, that's the difference right there. You just hit on what I was going to say about the NBA as they fire black coaches and they fire white coaches. Those white coaches are usually recycled. They're usually recycled and come back and get a job. That does not happen very seldom and rarely with a black coach in both the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. You don't get recycled, man. Casey Jones.
You know why, don't you?
Why is that?
Because our coaches, black coaches, for the most part, have been taught how to get to the coaching position, but they've never really been taught. Most of them have not been told, okay, it's okay to take a step back into an assistant coaching job on a better team if you get fired.
Right,
the white boys.
That's right. They sure do.
Well, okay, like the coach that I was just talking about, the offensive coordinator for
New England.
He lasted 18 months in Denver. Got fired, ran back to Foxborough, padded his resume, and now he's going to supposed to be coming to Indianapolis. But see, we don't celebrate the big picture. You know, like I said, when I got into the radio business, I was trained by the best whites and blacks and even females to get into the industry. And what my mentors used to always say was, you got to start somewhere, and you got to learn your ropes and pay your dues before you have a right to complain about anything. And a lot of the coaches, like we were talking about, touchdown Tommy Thompson's son, touchdown Tommy Wilson's son, Steve Wilson. Steve Wilson is a coach extraordinaire. He was a player at Howard. Then he became a coach at Howard, and then that's a black college, in case y'all don't know. And now the brother is so smart that he helped to redesign Madden football. Because the original games, to be blunt, sucked. But they got in touch with the coach, and he basically redesigned the game even to the point where quarterbacks, based on his redesign of the game, use that game to train off of while they're in high school to get ready for college and the pros. So, we just have to be prepared to be like it says on one TV network. We have to be prepared to be unsung.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get used to being in the background. It's like when I was talking to Gary Johnson, he introduced us, and I found out that you work with Washington D.C. legend Petey Green. I said, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, my mentor.
I said, "This man has stood next to radio greatness."
Yeah.
But see, Petey Green wasn't held in high esteem until after he was dead or 20 years down the road.
That's right. He was definitely a pioneer and a trailblazer.
Right.
And what year did you start in radio television?
What year? Or
yeah.
What?
Yeah. What was your first radio talk show? When did you hit the media?
My first brush with radio was as a disc jockey. I was a disc jockey back in junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to high school, I was playing in junior high school. I was doing dances. I played music for the basketball games. And when I got to high school, and I grew up, part of my growing up years was in a mostly white suburb of Cleveland Heights. And the high school had the first black student council president. And he was a friend of a good friend of mine in junior high school. And he invited me up to the high school before we left junior high school. And he said, "Ramey, we want you to do what you were doing in junior high school. We want you to do it up here." He said, "Do you know how to plan and present a proposal to the administration so you can do it?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, after I picked myself up off the floor, I said, "No." He said, "Good. I'll teach you what you need to do." This is one black brother helping out another black brother. And then
that's very rare.
You can make your presentation, and if you do it the right way, they'll approve it. I did it the right way. They approved it. As a sophomore in high school, I had my own music station. The school system was paying for the music, and I hired my own crew: black, white, male, female. I was the first one to hire a white female disc jockey.
Right.
Yeah. So I go back, buddy. I go back to the '70s. That's when music was music. So
mm-hmm.
so I owe all that to my dad and my mom. I owe all that because I got my dad's work ethic and smarts, and I got my mom's attention to detail.
Right.
And the thing about it is that it's like I'm a radio rat from way back. Knew all the big shots in the Midwest. Listened to all the stations. I'd be up in the middle of the night listening to radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the big radio station in the U.S. that played Motown wasn't Detroit. It was CKLW out of Canada.
Mm.
And I remember they played. Look, they played the hell out of Motown. They played more Motown than Motown. but see, CKLW was like 50,000, 75,000 watts. Then you had the X in the West. There was 100,000 watts coming up from Mexico. So if you were into radio and you listened to the greats and listened to how they did stuff, it was just a great time. When I was in college, I went in as a business major. Halfway through, I switched over to communications and radio management and stuff like that. I knew about ratings and the ratings industry at a time when there were few blacks that knew anything about ratings.
Mm-hmm.
And did my independent study project on it. I do all the rating services. knew how they worked, got an A on the project, and I had enough stuff, buddy, that if I decided to go into news or programming, I had the head start. I had a leg up. I knew exactly what was going on. But a lot of it too is just people skills. If you treat people right, they remember you. When I graduated from college, my first radio job, a friend of mine in my class got a job as a program director, and he didn't graduate. He dropped out, took the job, and as soon as I graduated, he said, "Hey, how you doing? I got a position up here for you. You want to come up here and work on the station?" I said, "Yeah."
What year was that, Mike? What year was that?
That was 1980.
Okay.
I worked at a mostly white radio station up in Chardon, Ohio, and then the second half of 1980, I worked at a white station doing news in Alliance, Ohio. So I worked at two white stations. Came here to Indianapolis in '81. Started out as a desk assistant, rewrite man for a news talk station in '81. Went to work for WTLC, which was WTLC FM 105.7, which was the powerhouse of the Midwest as far as urban contempt, and worked in their news department. Then got hired away from them when we were number two. I got hired away by the number one station, basically in the state, and left. I spent most of the '80s in radio. I spent most of the '90s in print. And in the words of Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles, the rest is history.
Well, the voice that you've been hearing talking to me is, of course, Mike Ramey out of Indianapolis, pioneer and trailblazer and ordained minister, a guy that has been working with gangs over the years, and we getting down to the nitty gritty. Mike has had the mic, and we've been talking to Mike. I just want to take this time to give some credit to my mentor, the late Petey Green, that got me started in sports talk radio in 1967 as he went to WOL on Sundays and gave me 5 minutes on Sundays, and I was able to parlay that in 1970 to Inside Sports on WOOK radio. And that Mike was saying earlier about a setback is a setup for a comeback. That is from a quote. A guy that made that his tag is the one and only Willie Jolly, inspirational speaker here in Washington, D.C. So, yes, we've had some great people that have blazed trails for us, and we don't have any idea of who they are. The folks that came out under me is the who's who that I don't even have time to even talk to you about. But I want to welcome and say I want my man Mike Ramey to come back, because as always, when you have a show like this, you run out of time, and that's what we're doing now. Mike, give us as you go out of here, tell us a little about your gang work in Indianapolis and around the country. Really, the same type of thing that I've been doing here in Washington for the past 50 years. You got 1 minute.
Okay. Basically, to get young people out of gangs is you got to give them Jesus Christ. And we've tried everything else. We tried money. We tried gun buybacks. We tried talking, lecturing. The only thing that's going to get these kids out of gang is to get them into Christ, get the homes put back together, get them back in church, and keep them from going to jail and being a white man's fool.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you said a mouthful, man, and we got a lot of work ahead of us, man. We got Black History Month coming up, but guys like us, we celebrate Black History 365 days of the year, because that's the only way that you're going to enlighten and educate our people. Our history is being suppressed, just like you said, and until we are able to get out the word, until we start owning radio and television stations, man, we're going to be in the back of the bus. So, I mean, I want to congratulate you on the great job that you've been doing in the media and out in the community, and hope this won't be the last time. That you're welcome back here anytime that you see fit, man.
Well, I appreciate you, Harold, and just remember, I am Black History.
All right, I heard that. Okay, That's Mr. Mike Ramey, of course, in Indianapolis, and you can read his column and blog on blackmeninamerica.com. Just go to Black Men in America and pull him up. He will educate you. Mike, I'll catch you on the rebound, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, that's going to be it for the Legends of Inside Sports. I'm Harold Bell, and you can color me gone. But remember that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy.